Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing today on this, what's today, Friday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, always live here on YouTube. Big, huge weekend coming up. Yeah, championship weekend. It's going to be a massive week. Chiefs, Bengals. Can Patrick Mahomes finally beat Joe Burrow? We'll see. Eagles, 49ers. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, becoming Mr. Irrelevant, could be the first rookie in NFL history to lead his team to a Super Bowl. But let's get into our first topic before we make our picks. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. We talk about him from time to time on the show, but some recent news came up, especially with now the Jets signing former head coach and former Green Bay Packers offense coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. It looks like the Jets have moved into betting favorites to capture Aaron Rodgers. Before it was actually the Las Vegas Raiders at plus, I believe I have it right here, it was plus 550. Now it's plus 750. The Jets started out as plus 750 and now have moved to plus 125. The Packers are still favorite, obviously, for him to stay at minus 125, but the Jets have moved substantially into the betting favorites if Aaron Rodgers does not stay in Green Bay. Ian Rappaport reported that there's a real possibility that the Packers could try to go young, go with Jordan Love, and get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers owed $60 million guaranteed this year. So, if Aaron Rodgers is not... Actually, you know what? You might think the Packers, but what team do you think would be the ideal fit for Aaron Rodgers in the 2023-2024 NFL season?
Ideal fit?
Ideal fit.
Well, I'd think the Patriots.
Patriots? The Patriots are plus 1,500.
Yeah, well, they're not going to get him. They're going to stick with Mac Jones. Now they've got their new offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien. So I guess I think that I'm not sure it's an ideal fit, but I think the Jets will make a play for Aaron Rodgers. They got the money, right? They don't care about the money. They're going to spend whatever they want. They're willing to give up some high draft picks probably to get him. And I think the money part of it would be a problem for many teams that might have an interest in him because he's owed so much. 2 years, right? He's owed $100 million.
Yeah.
For 2 years. How come it's why do you say $60 million? I don't understand that.
I mean, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but it's like roster.
I thought he was
bonus.
guaranteed 100.
It's about 100. It's a little over 150 million for 3 years. That was
guaranteed, right?
Yeah, it's a fully guaranteed contract. So next year with the bonuses, with the incentives, I believe it's upwards of $60 million.
Wow, that's a lot of money for a guy who didn't have the greatest year, past year, right? But he has been the MVP the prior 2 years.
Correct.
So he's definitely good. I think he's really good. And his attitude and his team, team member, team player, that kind of thing, some of that's a little questionable, but I'm pretty sure the Jets will go after him.
So you're picking the Jets?
Yeah. I'm not sure that's the best fit. I have to think about that.
So you think that's probable fit though? You think the Jets are gonna make a push?
There are other teams that would love to have him for sure. I would say the Bucs, right? Probably Brady's not going to be with them, and New Orleans.
They are currently not within the top 8 to get him.
New Orleans Saints.
He is a part of this. They're plus 3,000. They're at the bottom of where Sports Illustrated has.
What are the top teams then besides the Jets?
It's the Jets, Raiders, Colts, Dolphins, Patriots, Titans, Commanders, 49ers, and then an ellipses, so a big gap, and then the Saints.
Yeah.
So the Patriots have backed off. The Dolphins have moved up. The Colts have moved up. Raiders have dropped back.
Dolphins are a possibility.
And then
I think the Dolphins are either Brady or Rodgers, maybe, right? Probably either one of those.
You don't think they're going to stick with Tua?
I think they'd like to. I don't know what his health status is going to be, right?
They said they're sticking with Tua moving forward. So
yeah? Okay, well, then I think Brady's going to the Raiders then, if they're going to stick with Tua and the Dolphins. But I bet if Brady had a real interest in the Dolphins, they would reconsider.
There was a video recorded. I think it I don't know if it definitely was not like a planned video. There was a video of Brady in a Miami school to move his kids out to a school in Miami. He was looking at schools to send his kids to. The ideal fit for Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, would probably be, I mean, is this Nathaniel Hackett thing another bait to say, hey, Aaron Rodgers, we have your old OC, come to the team?
I think so.
Because that was the whole plan with the Denver Broncos. Nathaniel Hackett sold the idea that, oh yeah, I could bring Aaron Rodgers with the Broncos, it'll be easy. And then Aaron Rodgers, he decided, I'm going to stick with the Packers. And I think this is the same situation. He has held the Packers hostage for the past 2-3 seasons, and so I think it's going to be the same mold. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay with the Green Bay Packers because they're the betting favorite. But I just think the way Aaron Rodgers, how he manipulates his situation to fit him perfectly, to paint him in a better light than maybe it actually is. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers here. I think this is a bait once again. To say, Aaron Rodgers, come to the Jets, we have your OC. And the Jets owners already said that he's willing to spend the money and the picks to go get Aaron Rodgers.
He said that.
Yep, Robert Saleh said that they're going to be actively looking for a veteran quarterback. But the way the Jets are working now and how their future is going to hopefully develop, Aaron Rodgers would not be a great fit. Because Aaron Rodgers, he's very, very expensive. You still have some pieces you need to fill in on the team. You have young guys that you're going to need to pay sooner rather than later. You sign Aaron Rodgers to a 2-3 year deal. You pay the rest of the $100 million. That's going to be a huge cap hit to your team. And also,
team is, I see that team as being quite strong, except for the quarterback position.
No,
right?
No, it is.
So you put an elite quarterback in there. The Jets could be, they definitely could have a real shot at the playoffs and maybe going deeper into the playoffs.
I could definitely get down with that idea, but another part of this is Aaron Rodgers does not work well with young receivers whatsoever. Romeo Doubs was on a show, and he was asked, what did Aaron Rodgers? How was a dinner you had with Aaron Rodgers, trying to see if Aaron Rodgers meets up with his receivers when it's not game time. Romeo Doubs never spent a minute with Aaron Rodgers outside of playing football. Never invited to a dinner. Never invited to never invited to hang out. Nothing like that. So if Aaron Rodgers is going into a situation with Elijah Moore, with young receivers from the Jets, Garrett Wilson, there's going to be no rapport there. And besides, if he goes to a new team, he wasn't dedicated enough to build up a relationship with his receivers in Green Bay in the offseason. He's going to go to a whole new team. How is he going to develop a relationship? How is he going to change his ways with the new team if, they just got two brand new receivers, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson? It took them, 12 weeks, at least with Aaron Rodgers and Christian Watson, to develop any sort of a relationship. And it took off. So if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, if this ploy does work, we got Nathaniel Hackett come to the Jets willing to spend money on you. And he goes to the Jets. Who says that Rodgers is going to change how he develops and how he creates relationships?
Aaron Rodgers has got some, idiosyncrasies to him. And that's something you got to put up with. If you think you're going to bring him in, you have to look at those things as opposed to the pluses that he brings. So there's some pluses and some minuses. They'll have to weigh whether they think the pluses outweigh the minuses. I mean, they could also go out and get an elite wide receiver, too, if they wanted to.
DeAndre Hopkins is reportedly going to be out there, yep. But I think if we're talking about the ideal fit for the Jets just need a really good distributor. That's what they need. They don't need a guy to come in and be the guy. Yeah, they just need them.
Who would it be?
Jimmy G.
Yeah, could be.
I think Jimmy G is the perfect opportunity because Garrett Wilson, we saw flashes of really, really good wide receiver play this year. Elijah Moore has been a good receiver since he came to the Jets. So all they need is a guy to get to the wide open guy, and that's the problem with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's out here, slinging balls 50 feet above their head, making horrible plays. Bootleg out to the right, throw it right to Devin McCourty as a throwaway. So Zach Wilson, he's the second. I couldn't believe that, and I never understood why. From the very beginning of the draft rumors, that Zach Wilson was basically set in stone to be going to the Jets. He made one phenomenal throw in his pro days, combine day, and the Jets were absolutely sold on Zach Wilson. I never understood that whatsoever. You could look at the comparison. He's more Jamarcus Russell and Johnny Manziel than any good quarterback comparison. And if anything, his comparison's actually a little bit worse than Jamarcus Russell. And just Jamarcus Russell is considered one of the all-time busts.
Yeah.
It's like him and Ryan Leaf are considered the two biggest busts in NFL history.
They may try to unload him.
They should. And most will be a backup.
Much for him.
No, at most he'll be a backup. They're not paying him nothing. Joe Flacco, I don't think is going to come back to that team.
You think so? He's coming back?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think they're going to use Zach Wilson as a backup. But the question is, though, will Zach Wilson, being a young quarterback, would he make any sort of negative noise or negative energy that could affect the rest of the team? I mean, he's coming in there saying, I'm the second overall pick. Look at what I could do. I could run. I can get myself hurt trying to run. I have such great arm strength. I just can't get it to the right target. I throw it to the other team instead. So I think they just need a guy to distribute the ball. And Jimmy G, you know what? Nathaniel Hackett runs a West Coast style offense. That's what Kyle Shanahan runs in San Francisco. Now, obviously, San Francisco and the New York Jets are not really comparable when it comes to talent-wise. But Breece Hall, the Jets had a really good running game with Breece Hall. Same way they found success with Jimmy G on the 49ers. They had a phenomenal run game. The Jets also have a very comparable defense. The 49ers have a phenomenal defense. They have playmakers on the offensive side. Jimmy G just needs to get it to the guys. I think Jimmy G's a better fit. Plus, you're not going to be paying him $60 million on his first year.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You'll be paying him, $30 million.
Yeah.
35 million.
The Jets went out and got the Aaron Rodgers' former OC.
Yep.
And they say they're going to be active for him. So that means they wanted. They're interested.
Active for a veteran quarterback.
Oh, they didn't mention Rodgers by name.
They did not mention Rodgers by name because then, I think it's kind of obvious. You're getting his former OC. It's the same thing the Broncos did. So I think this is another ploy to say, hey.
Well, sounds like the Jets won't be drafting a quarterback. Then they're going to try to trade for one.
If they go get Rodgers, they probably will draft a quarterback.
For Jimmy G, right? He's
a free agent. You should pick him up. All right, let's move on to our next topic because it's about time. The Patriots have finally signed, and it's crazy, a guy with a title. Bill O'Brien is making his return. He was a head coach with the Texans before he moved on to Penn State and then eventually moved on to Alabama, but he was a coach for the Patriots from 2007 all the way to 2011, and then he moved on to the Texans, and then he went back to college, but now he's back. Bill O'Brien is back as the OC and as the quarterback's coach for the New England Patriots. So that means a bunch of things here. The first thing is Joe Judge is out of a job because Joe Judge was the QB coach, and Matt Patricia is seemingly, he's sort of being, brushed away. But it looks like the report is that Joe Judge is actually going to stay. Matt Patricia's future is up in the air. Joe Judge will stay at a reassigned role.
I bet they'll put him back on the special teams.
They may.
They should. Given they gave up 2 kick returns for touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But with the
most important game of the season, by the way.
Yeah, I would say so. So, do you think the signing of Bill O'Brien, the return of Bill O'Brien, is the missing link for the Patriots' success offensively?
Yes.
You think so? Problems are solved now.
Yeah, I think so.
Why do you think that?
Because I think Bill O'Brien is a quality guy. He was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots a number of years ago. They had a lot of success with him. Of course, they had Tom Brady as a quarterback. That had a lot to do with it as well. But I think he's somebody that Belichick respects and likes. And Belichick says he likes to work with people he likes. So I think that he's an excellent choice. And I would say, Belichick, he's going to coach, I think maybe 3 more years. Probably he wants to win the.
He's 31 wins away from
31 wins.
So it'd be more like 4. It would be more 4 seasons.
4 seasons. If this works out well, then you could see Bill O'Brien being the heir apparent.
Could be.
And he wouldn't be a bad choice either because he has head coaching experience and he had quite a bit of success with the Texans actually. So I think he's a great choice, and I think we'll really find out now whether Mac Jones is the real deal or not, right? Because there's no excuses now. This guy's a proven OC and has a great pedigree, lots of experience coaching both at the college and the pro level. And he's a successful coach, and we'll see how Mac Jones does in his system.
Okay, that's fair. I'm going to say when this first came out that the Patriots are going to sign Bill O'Brien back as the OC, and then eventually he was added to the QB coach as well. My first thought was, yeah, no, problem solved. They have everything they need. And then I dug a little bit deeper. The Patriots rankings for multiple sets of positions. Defensive line, they were ranked 23rd. Linebacker, 19th. Defensive back, 26th. Wide receiver, 20th. Running backs, 15th. Offensive line, 11th. Quarterback, 24th. Total defense was 8th, large in part due to the rushing defense. Total offense was 26th. That does not scream that one guy could change everything. I think they need a lot of pieces. Jonathan Jones is a free agent this year. He was moved from his previous position. He was more of a nickel cornerback. He was brought in as a primary coverage cornerback. He got burned by every decent to great wide receiver this year.
Oh, we probably won't bring him back.
He was horrible. The next guy to step up, who would that be? Jalen Mills? They have nobody in the cornerback position. They gave up
Marcus Jones.
Marcus Jones, he's a nickel back. He's not a coverage cornerback. He's also tiny.
No, but
tiny.
He started. He was the starting cornerback there in the last few games of the season. He did very well. He played very well.
He got smoked. He's also 5'9", 185. Most wide receiver ones are in the 6'3", 200 range. Mm-hmm. That means you're gonna get bodied and you're gonna get mossed if they throw a jump ball.
Well,
they got rid of the best cornerback in the league just because he would cost some money. And this is what Bill Belichick does.
He did nothing this year though. He
got hurt. But we have to realize the Chargers defense fell apart early in the year. They were really good in the first game, fell apart throughout the year.
Well, when did J.C. Jackson get hurt? He wasn't until the third or fourth game, right?
Yeah. So
he was terrible the first 3 games he played.
No, right? That's true. But it was a whole different defensive scheme, whole different defensive system, different defensive coaching. I think Bill Belichick brought out a phenomenal coverage system that worked really well with J.C. Jackson. And also, the players need to regain their trust in Bill Belichick and the entire coaching staff. Because there was a report out, there was a beautiful article written by the name of Andrew Callahan for the Boston Herald titled "Inside the Most Dysfunctional Patriots Season Under Bill Belichick." Quote, "I've never seen anything like it." So what this article talks a lot, this is a perfect example of really, really good journalism. Several sources, which are obviously Patriots players or Patriots executives.
Anonymous.
People very, very close to
Anonymous.
Patriots players. A lot of the players, and these are just some of the quotes that were in this article, quote, "I've never seen anything like it. It was disheveled. They were they were always scrambling to get things done. It's always been about winning and doing what's best for the team. I really believe Belichick when he says that. I just think he really didn't understand how hard it was gonna be." Or, in other words, from another source, as it says, "I love Coach Belichick, but he effed us." And it just goes on about how bad, they were set up to fail. This beautiful article goes on about how Joe Judge would come in and act like the big dog, and him and Mac Jones just did not get along. And Mac Jones asked to be coached harder because that's what Mac Jones loves the details. He loves to know why things work the way they do, how it could be better. I'm pretty sure everyone remembers that clip of I think Tom Brady missed a play, and then Bill O'Brien came over, grilled Brady, and Brady gave it right back to him.
I remember that.
That's what Mac Jones is looking for. And I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Mac Jones may complain on a bad call. Bill O'Brien's going to give it right back to him, or at least he should. A lot of these players feel like they were set up to fail. They also, this article goes on talking about how Matt Patricia didn't know what the hell he was doing. They had a certain amount of plays. They cut the running plays in half. And the passing plays, there were like 10 passing plays that they had. They had no passing scheme whatsoever. They barely had a running scheme. And this is what I've been saying from the start. You said, "Oh, they'll fix it. They'll fix it. They'll fix it." They never fixed it. And honestly, Bill Belichick. And this goes on about how Joe Judge was kind of phased out by October. Bill Belichick never made any adjustments. And then, he was asked towards the end of the year, will there be any adjustments made to the offense? And Belichick said, it's a little too late for adjustments. It's a little too late for anything big. So he made a change too late. And also, I think Bill O'Brien needs to understand who your best players are out there. I looked this up because I was very curious, and I saw it, and I believe that. I talked about Tyquan Thornton and why the hell is he getting he's a rookie receiver, and he's outpacing a wide receiver who almost had 1,000 yards in his first season with the Patriots, Kendrick Bourne. This season, Tyquan Thornton played 65.5% of the offensive snaps, 22 catches, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's this year. Last year for Kendrick Bourne had 51.5% of the offensive snaps, 55 catches, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. This season, 44.3%, 35 catches, 434 yards, 1 touchdown. Played less offensive snaps, got more receptions, more yards, and 1 fewer touchdown. Kendrick Bourne was a better receiver. He may be the second best receiver on the Patriots, and he got used basically at the bottom of the barrel as a wide receiver 4 for whatever reason. I think we're going to see a version of Jonnu Smith for the Patriots this year that we saw at the end of the Titans run when Jonnu Smith was, finishing up his run with the Titans. And I think they're going to go back to a 2 tight end setup. Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski. It's now going to be Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Now, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are nowhere near as talented as Gronk and Hernandez were, but I see a lot of comparisons between how Aaron Hernandez played and how Jonnu Smith played. Jonnu Smith is a leaner, quicker tight end. He's not built big. That's more Hunter Henry, a.k.a. Rob Gronkowski. Aaron Hernandez was a halfback. Yeah. He got the ball handed to him sometimes by Brady. They've done that. I think they've done that a couple times with Jonnu Smith, hand the ball off to him. And I think Bill O'Brien may bring that back from the early 2010s.
Okay, well, that may be a good strategy, but Jonnu Smith better hang on to the ball because he had a bunch of turnovers in his first year, and he cost him some games. So I think that they'll be careful about getting him too much involved in the offense. We'll see.
Well, you can't. You're paying him. Right now the tight ends for the Patriots next year are a $35 million cap hit. The most by far in the league when it comes to tight ends. So I don't think you just give up on a player like that.
Well, O'Brien.
And by the way,
give him a hard look, I'm sure.
By the way, you talked about his fumbling issue. I have it here. He had 2 fumbles 2 years.
Yeah.
So
how about drop passes?
He didn't have a fumble
drop
issue.
Passes and penalties and toughs and very critical spots.
Drop passes, he had 6 over 2 years.
And how about the penalties?
That's not a stat.
It should be because he had some penalties in critical situations that were not good.
So I don't think he had a drop.
He didn't perform up to his salary, that's for sure.
Well, I agree with you there, but I just think that they didn't know how to scheme for two really good tight ends.
Maybe.
And I think that's what Bill O'Brien brings to the table, 2 really, really good tight end formations. I mean, the success of the Patriots were one of the highest scoring teams when Bill O'Brien was in charge of how the offense was really working.
I had Tom Brady, too.
I agree with you there. But the way it was schemed was beautiful. And even in Alabama, one of the highest scoring teams per game. I think Alabama averaged like 40 points a game when Bill O'Brien was in charge of that offense.
41.6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, there you go. More than 40. I undercut it, which was, I think, was like, what, 5th in college football.
It was good.
So that's what Bill O'Brien
They won a national championship, too, with him. Or they went to the national championship. Did they win it? Not last.
I think Bill O'Brien was at the end of Mac Jones's run. So that would be, what, 2020?
No, he was, Jones was transitioning out when O'Brien got there.
And so Mac Jones, I think for like 1 month or like a couple weeks, helped them just understand where they were. So they have, I'm not going to say a great relationship or really any relationship because it seemed like, Mac Jones was on his way out. Bill Brown was just coming in. So we're going to see. But I think Mac Jones is going to get coached much harder. I think this offense should look better because guess what? They actually have an offensive guy calling offensive plays. Bill Belichick tried an experiment.
I'm excited about it. I think it's good.
I'm thrilled because the Patriots actually, I agree with you though. Now not only does Mac Jones not have an excuse, the Patriots offense does not have an excuse unless Belichick has a normal Belichick draft and drafts next to nobody or trade away all of his picks for Lord knows what reason. So at least if you're going to trade away your picks, go get a legitimate receiver. Because, once again, your wide receiver core was ranked 20th. You might need a little help on the offensive line, too. I agree with you there. Trent Brown, you talk about underplaying this year. Trent Brown was one of the most penalized players in the league. 6'8", 360, And he gets, I mean, I expect him to at least block something. He blocks nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the Patriots need some help, even defensively.
Was he signed for only 1 year? I don't know.
Let's look up his contract. No, I think he signed an extension, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Trent Brown's contract, you're right, 1 year, $9 million. So he's a free agent this year.
He might be gone.
He's a free agent this year. So it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what the Patriots do. He's 6'8".
Isaiah Wynn will be gone.
He'll probably be gone. Sorry, not 380, 370. Sorry. I want to get it right.
That's huge, though. 370.
He looks massive, but he gets beaten so many times. They had one of the worst pass block win rates in the NFL. But you know what? We're going to take a quick break. But if you want to listen to the show on the go, you can listen on anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour. That's ANCHOR.FM/The Harvey Hour, or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can also send in your questions by going to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour/message, where you could sign up and then send in any question you have, and we will answer it live on air. But The Harvey Hour, back after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into last night's game. I believe we have this up correctly. I want to make sure
we're doing the NBA starters, I think.
I think we're gonna rock with this though. Let's go with the Knicks Celtics game last night.
What a disappointment.
It was a very, very surprising game. The Celtics were favored by 8 points in this game and could not come up with the win against the New York Knicks. The Celtics, obviously the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, 35-15 record. The Knicks are all the way down at the 7th spot with a 27-23 record. This game went into overtime. The Celtics were up actually a decent part of the game, but it was always a close game. But it was up to late free throws by Jaylen Brown. You know, free throws. You're supposed to be able to make them. Jaylen Brown, a 79% free throw shooter. He missed the free throws.
Missed both of them.
Yeah, both of them. And then the Knicks were able to get this win. So I'm going to ask you, what's your reaction to the Knicks' big win against the Celtics last night?
Celtics don't play good enough defense. That's their problem this year. The games they've lost, they're not playing defense like they did last year. Their offense is good, right? I think they're either 1 or 2 in offense.
They're up there.
Yeah, but they're not playing good enough defense. They've got to really focus on that more. That's one thing that Udoka, or whatever his name was. Yeah, Udoka. He really got him focused on that, and that really made a difference for them. I think that Joe Azua, or whatever his name Mazzulla?
Joe Mazzulla.
Mazzulla. He needs to get them playing better defense. I mean, they gave up 120 points last night, right? To the Knicks. Come on. They got to play better defense.
Don't disrespect the
Knicks. That's the
like
secret to winning the championship, guys. Play better defense. You can't give up 120 points and expect to win.
You can't disrespect the Knicks like that. Come on. Julius Randle did drop 37, though.
Yeah. He's playing 37. A lot better this year.
Yeah.
He's playing well this year.
It's not that he's playing better. He's playing a little bit more consistently, and that's what I have a lot of Knicks fans that are Knicks fans. Let's get that right first. And it's just, I constantly hear complaining about how inconsistent Julius Randle is. He's more consistent this year. We've seen great games from Julius Randle in the past couple of years, but I mean, he shot 13 of 25 from the field, 5 of 13 from 3, which is really good. He just had, I think, a 7 or 8 3-point game like a couple games ago, maybe the previous game than this. So he's having a great game. I mean, Jericho Sims, only 2 points, but he had 14 rebounds.
He's a brute, that guy.
Yeah, I mean, but somehow the Celtics actually out-rebounded because Jason Tatum dropped 35 and 14. Like, Jason Tatum's been on a little bit of a tear recently. I mean, actually, this entire season,
Jaylen Brown didn't play very well last night.
22, but, you shot 8 of 22 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. That will definitely not fly. He shot 1 of 8 from 3.
They didn't get enough scoring out of others besides Jason Tatum. When you look at the Knicks, Randall had 37. Brunson had 29.
He's been a great pickup.
Barrett had 19, and off the bench quickly had 17.
That's pretty big. Emmanuel quickly dropping 17.
And the Celtics, aside from Tatum at 35,
you had only
White had 15 and Brown had 22. Nobody else, only other player in double figures had 10.
Well, Brogdon had 10.
Yeah, well that's
10, 6, and 5, which is pretty good. But they just couldn't get it done. Brogdon, I was watching this game very, very closely. Late in the game, Brogdon, they got an offensive rebound. He had a wide open 3. He actually made a crucial 3 to, I think, tie up the game. Before this, and then he missed this one. So he makes a crucial 3, goes down. I believe this could put him up by 3. He can't get it done. So the Celtics team, once again, very inconsistent, and I agree with you. Ime Udoka, he focused a lot on defense, and that's actually what got them over the hump. I mean, they had a horrible record at the midway point of the season.
Then they went on a tear. They hardly lost a game when they started really playing good defense.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the Celtics do moving forward, because I still think, regardless of, losing to the Knicks, I still think they could battle out with Milwaukee. I still think they could battle out with Brooklyn. I think Philadelphia may cause them some problems. I mean, Philadelphia, they're I think they're 3.5, 4 games behind the Celtics. So you know what? I mean, Joel Embiid, he's on an absolute tear right now. I believe the Knicks, the Celtics crumbled against the Heat, I think, a couple games ago. That was a bad loss, because the Celtics, they were doing really, really well, and then I believe they had a horrible fourth quarter. I think they got outscored by, I think, like 25 points in the fourth quarter, which was ridiculous.
They've lost 3 in a row now.
So it's shocking to see, how the Celtics just are fluctuating, but they are still the number 1 team in the NBA. They're a half game above the Denver Nuggets, who are 34-15. They're 35-15. Have the half game, or actually no, that's a full game actually. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the Celtics do moving forward. I think the crucial part about it is, because if Jason Tatum does not drop, 35 and 14, I think the Celtics have serious problems. I don't even think they make it to overtime. And that's the thing, because Jason Tatum has these games where he's bad. He has a horrible shooting night. He might drop 30, but it'll be on like 25, 26 shots. So it's just a question, and that's why I still don't put Jason Tatum as a superstar. I think he's a phenomenal player, but just because of his inconsistencies, I don't think he's a superstar. And we're just gonna see. But in the playoffs, we'll see how the Celtics do. It'll be very, very interesting to see. Because for all we know, Celtics could fall apart. They could fall apart.
I don't think so.
And right now, the Knicks are actually, people are calling the Knicks. They're in the drop off stage right now, but they keep winning games somehow. So there's a chance. Right now, they are technically still in the play-in tournament. They are not out of it. 7 to 10 seed are in the play-in tournament. So we're going to see if the Knicks could, because they're a half game behind the Heat. They get on there. They're solidifying the playoffs. Stay at that 6th seed. See how they do. But I was actually very, very impressed with the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau is doing a great job. He's actually been doing a pretty good job since he came to the Knicks.
He's a good coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that it's the Knicks, so you have very, very unfortunate losses. But the Knicks have had sort of their way against the Celtics. You had an RJ Barrett buzzer beater. I don't know. I believe that was last year, the year before. He had a beautiful buzzer beater. Evan Fournier tore up this team. I don't know what's happened with Evan Fournier for the Knicks. I don't know if he's hurt or if he's just benched. I don't know what the situation is with him. But I was very, very impressed with the Knicks in this game.
What do you think about Brunson?
I think he's a great pickup. Phenomenal pickup. I just think, once again, Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Jalen Brunson, but I think Jalen Brunson is doing more than enough to solidify his role and the hype he got when he came to the Knicks. I've been very, very impressed with Jalen Brunson. I mean, I think since January he has one of the highest points per games in the league, and I think it's going to be tough because you said, they allowed 120 points to the Knicks. Scoring is up amongst the entirety of the NBA. I don't know what it is.
They aren't playing defense. Nobody plays anything.
I guess that could be it. I mean, but the NBA, it seems like they don't play really. And I mean, it's been since what? Really since Curry revolutionized the 3. He dropped 400 threes, 400 made threes. And then that just started to be a trend in the NBA. Because I remember, you're talking about the 2010, 2011, 2012 playoff games, they would go into the fourth quarter, it'd be like 70 points. And the game would end at like 95 points. I think I'm trying to remember back, the Lakers-Celtics NBA Finals. I believe when they entered the fourth quarter, there was only like 65 points scored in the entire game. That doesn't happen anymore. You score 65 points in a half, maybe. Now the NBA has really, really changed. But, I mean, if the Knicks keep playing like this and they go up against the best team in the East and they beat them and they go on a little bit of a run here, we might see the Knicks, make a run, solidify their place in the playoffs.
They'll make the play-in, the play-in tournament.
Yeah. I agree
Whether they
there.
get beyond that or not, it remains to be seen.
Last time the Knicks were in the playoffs, they absolutely choked against the Hawks. Trae Young. New York hates Trae Young. And Trae Young showed them up. And the Hawks had like a Cinderella run almost. I think they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Championship, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe so.
Yeah, they haven't done so well since then, though.
No, they're not doing too well. Where was it? Yeah, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference. Oh, Eastern Conference Finals, not even the semifinals. They lost 2-4 to the Bucks. So yeah, they won a little bit of a Cinderella run there. But was it?
How are they doing this year? The Bucks.
They are the 8th seed, 25 and 24, right behind the Knicks, about a game and a half behind. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the Knicks do if the Knicks make the playoffs. Be interesting to see where they go moving forward. But I think it's time. Do we have it here? Here we go. The All-Star Game's coming up. We're past the midway point in the NBA season, and last night the starters for the Eastern and Western Conference were released, and I believe we may have it up here. Here we go. The East All-Star starters: Kyrie, KD, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jason Tatum. Giannis being the favorite in the pick, so he was the captain. That's how it works. So we're going to start with the East, but are you surprised by any of the East All-Star starters, and would you change any of them?
I'm not that surprised. I think that's a pretty representative selection.
Okay.
Kevin Durant's hurt right now, but
Yep.
he's an all-star, and picking him as a starter, I think is probably okay. I think some of the other guys, that might have been considered there in the guard position, maybe Harden. He's having a good season.
No, it's not
Trae Young.
Ah.
DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan he's having a very good season.
22. I have a problem with DeMar, but continue.
Yeah.
He's 26 and 5. 26, 5 and 5. Not shooting well. 27 from 3. So
those would be the others that I would consider.
Okay. Let me look up Trae Young because I'm not familiar with how well he's doing this year. 27 and 10. That's
not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah. I honestly, I would probably put him. Yeah, he's doing better than Kyrie. But I think the problem with this is that it's 50% fan vote, 25% NBA media, 25% players. So the fans like Kyrie. I would probably put Trae Young over Kyrie Irving, maybe. But I think we also got to give love to an Indiana Pacer, Tyrese Halliburton. He's quietly dropping 20 and 10, which I think that's something. And then a big man, KD. I have no problem with him being an all-star. It's just he's not playing any games. I believe I saw a report he's out for 2 months. Joel Embiid got snubbed from the All-Star starters.
Yeah, he was what I was going to mention on the big guys, right? Embiid, Jimmy Butler. Sakanam or Saikim, or how do you pronounce his name?
Pascal Siakam.
Siakam for the Raptors. He's a very good player. Kuzma, right?
Recently, he's been doing very well.
Banchero.
He's a rookie. Ooh, you're thinking about putting a rookie up there.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that he'd probably make the team.
Yeah, he'll probably make the reserves, yeah.
Yeah,
but
then Julius Randle. Yeah.
He might make the All-Star team, but I'm talking about the starters here. I think... Joel Embiid's 33 points a game and basically 10 rebounds, and he's not a starter.
I know.
I mean,
should be in there instead of Durant right now because Durant's hurt.
I completely agree with you. I think the problem with the voting here is that the NBA has definitely moved on from being a positional. Like they've gone away from a positional type of sport where you might have Jason Tatum playing the 4 or the 5. LeBron has played the point guard since he came into the NBA. And now, the NBA used to be point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. Now it's guards, forward, and center. Mm-hmm. But now you actually have to pick the positions for the All-Star game.
Yeah. I will say we're going to do the West All-Stars here in a second. But I think this 5 would smoke the West All-Stars first 5.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're more bigger guys and more powerful guys. They've got LeBron as their center on the West All. They're playing small ball with those 5, right? These guys would outmuscle them, I think. And I like that picture of Giannis you got. It looks like he's got antlers. Huh? Look at that.
Well, let's move on to the West then.
Okay.
Here are the West All-Stars. Luka, Steph, LeBron, Zion Williamson. I'm going to get into that very quickly. And Jokic are your West Conference
I can't believe Zion Williamson made the...
I am 100% with you on that.
Yeah.
So besides, obviously, Zion, are you surprised with any other of the starters, and would you change any of the other ones? Because obviously, me and you agree, Zion should not be a All-Star starter at all. Luka,
no,
Curry.
I think the rest of them look pretty good. Yeah.
Well, okay.
I don't know about in the guard position. I guess you got LeBron as a guard. Who are the guards? Is it LeBron
first
and
first
Curry?
two. Luka and Steph.
Luka and Steph, right? So that's probably right. The others that you could consider Morant.
Yeah, you could put him up there.
Right. Alexander.
Yeah, he's my pick. He would be my pick.
And Russell Westbrook got a lot of votes. I don't know how that was.
Well, I mean, that's the weird thing, right? Everyone hates Russell Westbrook when he was a starter. But now, he's going for 6th man of the year right now. He's actually been doing pretty well off the bench, and I think, he's finally embraced that role. He's right now 16, 6, and 7. Like, that's a pretty good stat line for a guy who's a 6th man. But, so, I mean, unpopular opinion right now, I would put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dropping 30 points a game for the Thunder. And the problem with that is that the Thunder are the 11th seed right now. They're the 11th seed, so I think that's a problem. But Shai Gilgeous, he's not a huge name. Not a huge name. I think now he is just because of how well he's been playing. But yeah, it's 30 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 5 assists. You're shooting 36% from 3, 51% from the floor, 90% from the free throw line. Mm-hmm. Curry's also been hurt. He's been out a couple weeks. I would put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander above Curry right now. And believe me,
you can't do it because of the name, the fan recognition, all that, right? But Curry is like the name of the NBA. He's the face of the NBA these days. Yeah,
nowadays, I would kind of agree with you. It's between him and LeBron, but but I guess we can't be too objective about this because the All-Star game now is more about the fan service. That's why they gave the fans 50% of the vote weight. So I could understand why they put Curry up there. But if we're going based on who's the best 5 in the Western and Eastern Conference, on the West, I'll put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander above Curry this year. Right now,
who would you place Williamson with?
I put Domantas Sabonis. Yeah. I think he deserves to be an All-Star starter this year. I'll bring up his numbers right now. I think he's averaging the most rebounds in the league right now, 12.4. He's averaging close to 20 and 12 right now. It's 18.4 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists.
How about Paul George?
I'm not too sure about that.
Or Andrew Wiggins.
Paul George hasn't played enough games. It's the same thing with Zion.
Oh, yeah.
Zion's played, I think, 29 or 49 games.
He got picked as a starter.
I don't know how the hell he got picked as a starter. I think it's once again it's the fans. They're picking. Oh, we love Zion. We're gonna bring him out there.
Yeah.
Right now he's still battling back from injury. He may be good to go for the All-Star game. He's been out basically half the season, and you're gonna put him as an All-Star starter?
Is he playing right now?
No, he's right now hurt, but he's expected. Jen Hale, who is a
what's his injury?
I think it's a leg injury again, and that's what's been plaguing Zion Williamson. Hamstring, yeah. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks as of 3 days ago. Huh. So that's just in time. I believe the All-Star game is 3 weeks away. Just in time. We'll see if he has any setback and can't make it. But this All-Star starters team.
Did you see LeBron has tied Abdul-Jabbar for the most number of All-Star picks?
Yeah, 19, yeah. Hey, here's the thing, though. LeBron has started in all 19. Kareem has made 19 All-Star teams.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron, I believe, has started in all 19 All-Star games.
Yeah.
So I think LeBron has the upper hand when it comes to that. And
he's close to passing
Oh,
Jabbar in the total points scored.
He's very, very close to it. We may
get it this year.
Yeah, 1,000%. Well, hopefully not for an injury that stops him, but he's going to keep going.
Yeah.
He wants to play with Bronny, his son, and there's a chance he might play with both because I believe LeBron James' second son, he's getting up to potential college and then NBA. And the NBA, I believe, I saw a rumor that they're going to push it back down to 18 eligible, 18-year-old eligible, because they moved it up to 1 year of college eligibility, 19 years old. They may push it back.
Maybe they
to
have a
18
special
again.
exception if your father plays in the NBA. You can come out early.
I don't think they're going to let LeBron do that, but yeah, they might. Who knows? Chris Paul had a little bit of a contract thing where he asked the commissioner
His son looks exactly like him.
Who?
Chris Paul's son.
I haven't seen Chris Paul's son.
Yeah. He
Really?
looks exactly like him. Is he in
That's
the NBA now? He was in college not long ago. I wonder if he's in the NBA yet.
I'll look that up. Was it Chris Paul the third?
I don't know.
Yeah, Chris Paul the second. Chris Paul the second is 13 years old.
I thought Chris Paul had a son that played in the played college ball.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm wrong on that.
Well,
So-
he has an uncle. His son has Chris Paul has a brother, CJ Paul, who's 40 years old.
I'm wrong, man. I guess I thought for sure he had a.
It'd be very, very impressive in seeing Chris Paul the second play in the NBA at 13.
Yeah.
Or college ball.
We'll see.
Hey, I mean, I don't know if he's playing basketball, but I mean, there's some problems here. I would put Sabonis over Zion as a starter. I would put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over Curry. And then on the East, let's go back to the East because I'm curious what the... Yeah, who did I put for the East? I completely forgot. Oh, Joel Embiid over KD right now. Kyrie, you could ballot out a couple players maybe. James Harden over Kyrie maybe. But I think Mitchell deserves it. Tatum deserves it. Giannis definitely deserves it, and he's the captain, obviously. And then in the West, I've been a huge fan of Curry. I mean, I picked the Warriors to win last year. And I think Curry, I definitely think Zion should not be there because he hasn't played, basically half an NBA season so far. And then Curry, you could debate him or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'd put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over Curry, but that is a whole nother story. Oh, we're gonna take our second break. It's gonna be a little bit of a longer break, but we'll be back to finally make our NFL championship game picks, which we will do right after this.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into the picks right now. We have the divisional game, the championship game, Bengals, Chiefs, 49ers, Eagles. Let's start with the first game, the AFC game, Bengals at Chiefs. The Bengals were originally actually favored. They flipped the point spread when Patrick Mahomes got hurt, all the way down to -2.5 for the Bengals. But the recent reports coming out that Patrick Mahomes seemingly is A, off the injury report, and B, looks great. The point spread has flipped back in the Chiefs' favor all the way to 1.5 on a neutral field. However, the Bengals technically would still be favored because you get 3 points for being the home favorite. Let's get this up here. There it is. Or that's the NFC game. We'll skip that. There we go. All right, let's go. AFC game. Who do you have winning? Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs favored -1.5. Who wins? Who covers? What's the score?
I got the Chiefs winning, covering with a 24-20 win.
Woo! You think Mahomes goes back? Why do you think then? I'm curious.
Thinking because it's a revenge game for the Chiefs. They're thinking back to last year when they were ahead,
right?
By quite a bit there at the first half. They were looking like there was 21-3 or something, I think, in the first half. They were dominating the game, and they came out in the second half and laid an egg. It was terrible. The Bengals defense just destroyed them.
Right.
So they haven't forgotten that. They're not going to let that happen again. I think the connection between Mahomes and Kelsey is lethal. And look at the last game this game last week. The Mahomes, before he got hurt, 10 catches by Kelsey in the first half, 2 touchdowns. The first time that's ever happened in NFL history. I like that connection. And I think the Chiefs, despite not having Tyreek Hill anymore, the outside receivers are pretty good. And I think that Mahomes is going to have a really good game. And he's got a better offensive line now than he had last year. And I think that they will win. Not convincingly, but enough to beat the point spread and go to the Super Bowl. And they were my team. I picked them at the very first of the season that they would make the Super Bowl, and I'm hoping that they make it on Sunday.
All right. I'm going to go with the back-to-back. That's not what I wanted to do. Back-to-back Super Bowl. I'm going with the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals here to win 27-24. I believe this was the score, actually, that the last time they played this year. I believe they played Week 13. I gotta look that up right now to see, just to be sure that I got that right. But yeah, 27-24. The Bengals did win that game. I just think, you know what, Joe Burrow and this Bengals team seemingly has Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' number. I just think right now the Bengals are honestly the better team, and I think this may end. I think this may create and then subsequently end the debate of who's the best quarterback in the league. If Joe Burrow goes up against Patrick Mahomes and beats him for a 4th straight time, how can anyone say that Mahomes is a better quarterback when one quarterback has beat you 4 straight times? That to me, that makes no sense. And I think that's an argument, actually, you can make right now, because Joe Burrow's the only quarterback to beat him 3 straight times and only one of 2 quarterbacks to beat him 3 times totally. Brady and Burrow. That's it. Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and Burrow, I think, is right now better than Patrick Mahomes. And I think, you know, if Joe Burrow goes up against Mahomes in this game and beats him for the 4th straight time, 4-0, how can anyone say Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow? If we're talking about talent, that's a different conversation than who's the best quarterback. If I could, for instance, I mean, Zach Wilson has a phenomenal arm. He's not a great quarterback. Josh Allen has a great arm. There was a lot of interceptions. Maybe not even top 3 in the league. Jalen Hurts may have eclipsed him for that 3rd spot. So we're not talking about quarterback talent here. Talking about just overall quarterback play. And I think, you know, if Joe Burrow goes up and beats him, which I'm saying he does, goes back to a Super Bowl back-to-back, I'm saying Joe Burrow right now takes the crown off of Patrick Mahomes' head, puts it on his own head, and claims the crown as the best quarterback in the NFL.
Well, maybe. I think the Bengals looked really good last week. They dominated against the Bills. They controlled the whole game.
Right.
They're never in question, I don't think, that they were going to win. And at least until they got their first couple of scores, they got up 14-0. Right? Their running game, too. Don't forget about the Bengals' running game. It was very good last week. Joe Mixon looked very good. And so I think it will be a close game. You may be right. Maybe the Bengals will knock them off for the 4th time, but I'm counting on the Chiefs to pull it out. Plus, the Chiefs are playing at home.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a benefit for them, although last year they were at home as well and lost to the Bengals. So We'll see. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait.
I do think I'm a little bit more nervous than I was last year because the Bengals are getting a little bit cocky. They're calling Arrowhead Burrowhead now.
Oh, yeah.
And last year, it was the Chiefs doing the talking. The Bengals came in, took care of business, moved on to the Super Bowl. This year, it's the Bengals talking. And I don't know. Mahomes may be a little bit hobbled still. Maybe. You know, they're saying he has at least a grade 1, which is a mild high ankle sprain. I think the Bengals are going to try to keep Mahomes in the pocket because Mahomes is better outside the pocket than he is inside.
Well, he may stay in the pocket because his sprain.
Well,
his ankle sprain.
that's what I'm talking about. But I think the key is because when Mahomes got hurt against the Jaguars, the Chiefs started to run the ball more, and they were more efficient running the football. So I'm gonna if the Bengals can slow that down, make Mahomes actually beat you inside the pocket, I like the Bengals' chances here. But it's just a question of can you do something that not a lot of teams, if any team besides I guess the Bengals here, have done in Patrick Mahomes' career.
Yeah, well, I think that the connection to Kelsey is lethal.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how the Bengals are going to try to stop that. I think that'd be very hard.
That's a great question.
Who are they going to put on Kelsey? He's huge.
Yeah.
And he's having his best year, I think.
It's definitely up there. And Kelsey, he just goes on 6-7 yard routes, just dinking, dunking to Kelsey. Kelsey runs, 4 or 5 more yards. That's what they did late in the game last year. And the key is, for some reason, the Jaguars let up on pressure after Mahomes got hurt. They weren't rushing the quarterback as much, not getting as much pressure on Mahomes. I don't know why they did that. Who knows? They might have actually had a chance if they put more pressure on Mahomes after he got hurt, but that is a different story. I think it's time to move on to the NFC. I think you got a little bit of a sneak peek there because my graphics were set up incorrectly. But let's go on to it right now. 49ers, Eagles. Eagles favored -2.5 at home. I want to know who wins, who covers, what's the score?
I got the 49ers in an upset, 20-17, covering the point spread.
That is. Explain that one, please. I'm curious.
I like the 49ers, and I hate the Eagles. That's probably the biggest reason. I might be wrong here. The Eagles looked like the world beaters against the Giants. I was so surprised that the Giants played so poorly against the Eagles. But it may be just that the Eagles are great. And as I said last week, the Eagles kind of fly under the radar screen. They haven't been covered that much. You don't see them on national TV that much. They look like they have a great team, though, based on that one playoff game. And the 49ers, we've been seeing them a lot on TV. And they've had 3 quarterbacks this year. Now they're down to their rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy, who's had a pretty good season, I would say, for the time that he's played out there. And he seems like a very cool customer. He didn't have his greatest game last week, but the competition was stiffer. So this time he's going to be facing the best defense he's played against all year. We'll see what he can do. He's got some great weapons around him. I think they need to give the ball to Deebo Samuels more. I don't think he got enough touches in the last game. Maybe they're saving him for this game. I don't know. But look what he did against the Packers last year in that very cold game, right? He was the reason they won, I think. So I wouldn't mind seeing him be in the backfield, get a few handoffs. They got Christian McCaffrey, right? He can throw it, he can run it, he can catch it. I think they'll go to him a lot because the Eagles' defense is not that good against the run. They should try to run the ball quite a bit, and that will take pressure off Purdy, who's playing in the biggest game of his career, and he's only a rookie. And no rookie has ever made it to the Super Bowl. No rookie quarterback has ever made it to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be tough, very tough for the 49ers. I'm counting on them to pull it out by 3.
Very, very interesting. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have a phenomenal offensive line. Their defense, 70 sacks, 7-0. I believe they were top 3 in takeaways, if not number 1. Their defense is legit. Jalen Hurts, I really think it's a battle of the better quarterback. And Jalen Hurts is obviously a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy can go on the Cinderella run, and everything like that. People could praise Brock Purdy. He's so good. He's making all the throws. I mean, honestly, I think me or you could go out for the 49ers, run some plays. Just look at, Brandon Ayuk, who has 15 yards of separation. Have George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league. Deebo Samuel, one of the fastest wide receivers in the league. And this dude who's been rated like the best running back in the league the past couple of seasons. Best overall running back, by the name of Christian McCaffrey. Ever heard of him? Yeah, it's pretty fun having him. Plus, you have your backup, who was originally your starter, Elijah Mitchell. He's healthy again.
Yeah, the 49ers have the offense that's going to win the game.
I just think
they don't need Brock Purdy to do anything too spectacular. All he's got to do is not make any mistakes.
And that's where I think the difference is. It's from the quarterback, but also Brock Purdy had 3 or 4 missed opportunities of turnovers. There was one that hit Trayvon Diggs in the breadbasket, and he just couldn't keep it. He couldn't hold on to it. I think that's where the Eagles come into play. The Eagles have better cornerbacks than the Cowboys do. I think their front four is definitely close. They can get very, very good pressure. Hassan Reddick, phenomenal pickup for the Eagles this year. I think, and we've seen, I know I got grilled by everybody in the comments section on the Brock Purdy clip a couple weeks ago about how, he was compared to his calmness in the pocket. Brock Purdy, Mahomes, the calmness of Mahomes in the pocket. These 2 playoff games, I've seen a jittery, I've seen, an potentially overly excited or butterflies in his stomach, too hard of a throw, too high, too low, too left, too right, a not calm Brock Purdy. And I just think that's going to be the difference here. I think the Eagles are going to cause some turnovers, generate pressure, and, do a better job. And I for damn sure believe that Jalen Hurts is not going to throw 2 horrible interceptions when they're driving, especially one at their own 10-yard line. I don't think Jalen Hurts will do that because he hasn't thrown many turnovers.
Well, the 49ers have a very good defense,
They
too.
They do.
They could put a lot of pressure on Hurts. Right, and he didn't. He had a good playoff game last week. That was against the Giants. They were the number 6 seed. Right, the 49ers are the number 2 seed. They have a great defense. They have Nick Bosa. Right, they have a very good linebacking core and
Fred
secondary.
Warner.
Yeah, so I think that Hurts is he's up against very stiff competition too. Probably the toughest defense he's played against this year as well.
Yeah.
I would say the 49ers have a better running game than the Eagles do. Right? Miles Sanders. Did he have a good a season as McCaffrey did? Is he as versatile? Is he catch the ball as well out of the backfield? Can he throw a touchdown pass, which McCaffrey has done? Huh? Can he throw a touchdown pass?
I don't think CMC is going to be out here throwing touchdown passes, but Miles Sanders, almost 1,300 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, let me bring it up. Christian McCaffrey, very, very close. 1139, 8 touchdowns this year from McCaffrey.
How many receiving yards?
Let's take a look at that. Receiving yards, he had where is it here? Receiving yards this season, he had 741.
How about Miles Sanders?
To Miles Sanders, 78.
There's the difference in the game right there. They're going to throw the ball to McCaffrey when
I'm sorry. No.
When they drop back and the pressure comes, the safety valve is McCaffrey.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
He's the secret to the win. I think if he has a great game, San Francisco's going to win.
But it's a question of running the football. The Eagles have a significantly worse rushing defense than they're the number 1 passing defense in the league. I think they have better cornerbacks than the 49ers do. Their front four is very comparable, but I don't think it's better than because you have Nick Bosa on the 49ers side. I think the offensive line of the Eagles is slightly better than the 49ers. Lane Johnson, Mailata, Jason Kelsey. All you really have on the offensive line that's a very, very notable offensive line. Trent Williams. Trent Williams. He's the main piece of that offensive line. It's going to be, can you stop the run? If you could stop the run, that means you could pressure the quarterback, Brock Purdy, and I'm going to say it again because I've been seeing it with my own damn eyes. Brock Purdy's not been calm in these playoff games. He just hasn't. He's been pressured. He's been jittery. If the Cowboys capitalized on the turnovers, on the potential turnovers. Brock Purdy was lobbing them in. I think the Cowboys had a pretty damn good shot at being in this game. But Dak Prescott threw turnovers. The Cowboys couldn't catch turnovers, and that's why the Eagles and 49ers are playing this weekend.
Yeah, well, whatever happens, I hope both games are close.
Yes.
Because I can't stand watching a blowout playoff game. It's so boring.
It's just a question
I want to see a close game that I'm on the edge of my seat at the end, rooting for the Chiefs and the 49ers. That's what I'm hoping for.
Would you rather a 49ers, or would you rather close games, low scoring, or score?
I like I'm picking the scores to be reasonably low, so I guess I like the low scoring game.
You like the low, so you're more defensive. You're a more defensive guy. I don't know. I mean, just think about last year though. Bills Chiefs, late in that game, score. I mean, that was exhilarating.
Yeah.
Still 13 seconds to play bracket coverage when Chiefs had all 3 timeouts. That's just bad defensive play calling. It could have been Bills Bengals last year, and you know what? The Bills might have had a good shot last year.
We have to talk about the Bills in the offseason here.
We do.
After it's over. And what the hell happened?
We do. We will talk about
their
that.
ownership may not be too happy with what happened there.
I would agree with you. But I do think that wraps up another episode of the Harvey Hour. Monday is going to be a phenomenal show. Recap of all these championship weekend games.
Yeah.
Then we're looking at the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. It looks like not this upcoming Monday. The next Monday, we have our special topic because it's Pro Bowl week, or I guess Pro Bowl games week. We're going to have a topic that you came up with, weeks ago that we're going to get done. We may have a guest. Who knows? We'll see what we can do. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, that'll be the end of it. My name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. Anchor.fm to listen to the show back. Also Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast recently. You can listen back to the show. Clips will be uploaded tomorrow and the subsequent days throughout the week. Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. We will be live once again. We will see you then. We'll see you then.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.